Hello, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to talk about a troubled time in the history of humanity, where battles, betrayals, and disputes for power reigned, known as the Dark Ages. The Middle Ages are often called the Dark Ages because of the perceived cultural, economic, and intellectual decline following the fall of the Roman Empire. This period saw the fragmentation of Europe into small kingdoms, loss of classical knowledge and frequent barbarian invasions, impacting stability. The Viking invasions occurring between the 8th and 11th centuries had a significant impact on Europe. The Vikings, originally from Scandinavia, sacked coastal cities, monasteries, and villages, causing destruction and fear. These incursions disrupted trade, weakened kingdoms, and encouraged the formation of more robust defenses. It all started with the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD, which marked the beginning of a new era in Europe. With the deposition of the last emperor, Romulus Augustulus, by Odoacer, a Germanic chief, the disintegration of centralized Roman power began. This led to the emergence of several barbarian kingdoms that fragmented the continent. The power vacuum resulted in political instability and constant invasions, such as those by the Visigoths, Vandals, and Lombards. This fragmentation gave rise to a new social and political structure: feudalism. Feudalism was a predominant political and social system in the European Middle Ages. Characterized by decentralization of power, land was the main source of wealth. Feudal lords granted land to vassals in exchange for loyalty and military service. Peasants or serfs worked the land in exchange for protection and sustenance, forming a rigid hierarchical structure. The end of feudalism occurred gradually with the growth of trade, the emergence of cities, and the centralization of power in monarchs. The Black Death and peasant revolts also contributed to its downfall. The Holy Roman Empire began in 800 AD when Pope Leo III crowned Charlemagne as emperor. This act symbolized the union of temporal and spiritual power and the attempt to revive the Western Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire sought the restoration of order and Christianity in Europe, being a significant political and cultural force in the Middle Ages. With security being increased between the kingdoms, it favored an important route of trade between the world, with the Silk Road being vital for Europe in the Middle Ages, facilitating trade between East and West. It brought exotic products, such as silk, spices, and porcelain, enriching European economies. Furthermore, it promoted the exchange of cultural and technological knowledge, such as gunpowder, which brought from China revolutionized the new form of battles with cannons and firearms. Printing, profoundly influencing European society and development with the Gutenberg press in 1440, revolutionized the dissemination of knowledge, increasing access to books, helping the advancement of medicine, benefiting from translations of Arabic and Greek texts. The chemistry and alchemy that gave rise to a medieval folklore figure like Merlin, the king of the wizards. The first university, that of Bologna, 1088, promoted academic study. Discoveries such as the compass brought from China and Arabic numerals from the Middle East boosted European technology and navigation. Increased tensions between Europeans and Muslims led to major battles. The Crusades of the Nobles, also known as the First Crusade, 1096 to 1099, was initiated after the appeal of Pope Urban II at the Council of Clermont. European nobles, motivated by Christian faith and the promise of wealth and land, organized military expeditions to recover Jerusalem and other holy territories from Muslim control. Led by figures such as Godofredo de Boulogne and Bohemundo de Taranto, this crusade culminated in the conquest of Jerusalem in 1099, establishing several crusader states. In addition to the First Crusade, several other crusades took place during the Middle Ages. The Second Crusade, 1147 to 1149, was a response to the fall of the County of Edessa, but it ended in failure. The Third Crusade, 1189 to 1192, led by figures such as Richard the Lionheart, attempted to recapture Jerusalem following its reconquest by Saladin, resulting in a truce agreement. The Fourth Crusade, 1202 to 1204, diverted to Constantinople, culminating in the sack of the city. Other smaller crusades and campaigns occurred in the following centuries, each with varying degrees of success and failure, reflecting the complex dynamics of power and religion of the time. Another event that occurred in the Middle Ages was the Inquisition, started in the 13th century by Pope Gregory IX, which aimed to combat heresy and strengthen the Christian faith. He used rigorous methods, including torture and executions. The movement lost strength with the Renaissance and the Protestant Reformation, led by Martin Luther at the beginning of the 16th century, which promoted questioning of the Church's practices. Officially, the Court of the Holy Inquisition was abolished in 1821, but the Court of the Holy Office continued until 1891. Among the figures who made their name in history during the Middle Ages, we can mention Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc, born in 1412, was a peasant woman who, guided by divine visions, led the French army in the Hundred Years' War. The Hundred Years' War, 1337 to 1453, was a conflict between France and England, motivated by disputes over thrones and territories. It resulted in the consolidation of national monarchies and the strengthening of nationalist sentiment in both countries. Joan of Arc's importance to France is immeasurable, as she inspired and commanded troops in crucial victories, such as the liberation of Orleans in 1429. Her leadership reversed the course of the war in favor of the French. Captured by the English in 1430, she was tried for heresy and burned at the stake in 1431. Centuries later, she was canonized by Pope Benedict XIV, remaining to this day a national heroine and symbol of courage. An event that also had a profound impact on the history of medieval Europe was the Black Death. Between 1347 and 1351, a devastating pandemic that killed around a third of the European population. Caused by the bacteria Yersinia pestis, transmitted by rat fleas, the disease caused a social and economic collapse. The consequences included labor shortages, economic crises, and profound changes in social structures. Discoveries of new lands by Christopher Columbus favored the accumulation of wealth for European kingdoms. Born in 1451 in Genoa, Christopher Columbus, a navigator who in 1492 led an expedition financed by the Catholic monarchs of Spain to find a new route to the Indies. He believed that by sailing west, he could reach Asia more quickly. On October 12, 1492, Columbus arrived on the American continent, discovering lands unknown to Europe. His travels paved the way for European colonization of the Americas and changed the course of world history. The end of the Middle Ages was marked by several factors, including the fall of Constantinople in 1453, which ended the Byzantine Empire. Furthermore, the Renaissance brought a cultural and intellectual renaissance, challenging medieval structures. The great navigations and discoveries of new lands also expanded horizons. The Protestant Reformation, which began in 1517, questioned the authority of the Catholic Church, contributing to the transition to the modern age. We have reached the end of another video about a part of our universal history. I hope you liked it. If so, leave a like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, and see you next time.